Cacique Guaguyona first called upon a man called Macocael to stand watch by the entrance of the cave so that it could be determined what portions of the young earth would gradually become fit for human habitation, and so that people could be sent out to those places first for the herbs and then to live out there. So Macocael assumed his post at the entrance of the cave and promised to be watchful and vigilant, looking out at the endless landscape as one who would never blink, but instead keep his eyes forever open as one without eyelids. Day and night, Cocael was to keep his post, ever watchful, to eventually determine the destiny of the people. But one day there was no watchman at the cave door, no one to keep vigilant as Macocael had promised. He took too long to report to his place of responsibility. Eventually, after a long time had passed, he finally rushed to his post, but by then it was too late. Macocael was negligent in regard to his job. He was tardy at his post. He failed to report for his duty on time. He was late. His lack of vigilance cost him dearly. His essence was snatched up by the metamorphic power of the sun. His body fossilized, and he became nothing but a pile of rocks by the cave entrance. After the loss of Macocael, things got worse among the people of the cave community. Sickness and hunger had established a stranglehold among them, and they had no way of alleviating the suffering. They had no healing herbs, and the food supply was catastrophically low. The people were dying. Wives lost their husbands, husbands lost their wives, and mothers lost their children. Again, Cacique Guaguyona, the chief, gathered around him those who demonstrated a willingness to help. There were some who volunteered to bravely go out and attempt to fish in the streams and rivers so that the food supply could be replenished. And so off they went into a primordial, not fully formed world to search for the food that their fellows needed so desperately. The weight of the gold Guanine medallion, the emblem of his authority, hung heavily from Guaguyona's neck. The people depended on his leadership for their survival. Guaguyona as chief, as cacique, owed his authority to the fact that he represented the central axis of existence among his people, like the very center of the Milky Way galaxy, which the ancients perceived as the trunk of the cosmic axis tree, the celestial Ceiba tree. Guaguyona provided the anchor around which the lives of his people orbited, very much like the millions of stars, planets, and other heavenly bodies that comprise the Milky Way galaxy orbit around the galaxy's center. Those who were chosen by Chief Guaguyona to attempt the food acquisition mission turned out to be very successful at their task. And soon they had a large quantity of the precious food collected in baskets. But instead of returning quickly to share their bounty with their fellows at the cave, they greedily kept the fish to themselves, cooking all of it on barbacoa, a barbecue grill on the riverbank. They felt that if they returned and shared the fish with the crowd in the cave, there would be precious little left for them. Their greed and selfishness got the better of them. They settled down to enjoy the fruit of their labor, greedily devouring all of the fish that they had caught. Unbeknownst to them, the powerful spirit of harsh experience was already at work preparing the tough lesson that would forever mark them as the example which generations of descendants would point to and remark. That is what happens when greed and selfishness controls the actions of people. The ancient Taino spirit of harsh experience is Wakar, the twin brother of the Lord of Life, Yukahu. Wakar is the Lord of Trials, the tough disciplinarian and headmaster of the School of Hard Knocks. Wakar, wielding his Manaya hatchet of destiny, was actually the one responsible for the fate of Makokael, he who failed to keep watch at the entrance of the cave. And now he would again make these irresponsible ones pay a heavy price for their dereliction of duty. It was again the awesome metamorphic power of the sun that was the active agent in the downfall of the successful fishers. They were smitten by the Manaya hatchet of Wakar, as Makokael had been before them, and their bodies were transformed into trees.